Hello students, welcome to our today lecture. In our today lecture, we are going to test the Granger Causality test. So, for applying Granger Causality test, it is necessary that your R variable are stationary. If your variable are not stationary, you cannot apply Granger Causality test. So before applying Granger Causality test, you must have to check that whether your R variable are stationary or not. If they are not stationary, make them stationary, and after making them stationary, then you can apply Granger Causality test. So the null hypothesis for the Granger Causality test is that if I have two variables y and x, so the alternative hypothesis is that y does not cause x, and alternative hypothesis is that y does cause x. So how we can reject or accept the null or alternative hypothesis? For this we have to see the p-value of f stat. If the p-value, which means the probability value, is greater than 5%, then we cannot reject h0, meaning that we have to accept the h0. So this is the basic introduction about Granger Causality test. Now we will apply and see that how to apply and interpret the results of Granger Causality test. First of all, we have to select our data. As I have three variables, import, saving and GDP, and my data start time period is 1976 and it is to 2021. So after copying data into, now bring that data into EViews. So first of all, go on file, then new, work file. Here as my data is annually, so I am select annual, and the start date of my data is 1976 and the end date of my data is 2021, and my data is dated and regularly. It is not unstructured or balanced, so I will go with this option and then I will press OK. So after that I will go to quick empty group, then I will paste my all data here. So as you can see that my all three variables are present here: GDP, import and saving. I am assuming that my all variable are stationary. As in earlier lecture we have already discussed that how to check the stationarity of the data. So in this video our major concern is to test the Granger Causality test. So I am moving to the Granger Causality test by assuming that my all variable are stationary. So if you are applying Granger Causality test, so make sure that your R variable are stationary. So after that select your variables, then open as group. Okay, open as group. After that go to quick, then go to group statistic, and here you can see that Granger Causality test, and apply Granger Causality test. So here you can see that it is asking about the list of series group. So I have three variables, they are already present here, so I will simply press on OK. Here it is asking about how much lag to include in the estimation. So by default it is on 2 lag, so I am going with this option and I will click on OK, and this will give me the result of Granger Causality test. So as you can see that the null hypothesis is that import does not Granger cause GDP, and its alternative hypothesis is that import does cause Granger cause GDP. So for the acceptance and for the rejection of the null and alternative hypothesis, we have to see the F statistic probability value. As you can see that the probability value of F stat is greater than 5%, it is 85%. So we cannot reject H0. So we cannot reject H0 as our probability value is greater than 5%. It means that import does not Granger cause GDP. Here you can see that GDP does not Granger cause import, and its alternative hypothesis is that GDP does cause Granger cause import. As you can see that F stat probability value is less than 5%. So we have to reject this null hypothesis, which means that we have to accept the alternative hypothesis, which means that GDP does cause import. And here you can see that saving does not Granger cause GDP, and alternative hypothesis is that saving does cause GDP. Again we have to look at the probability value of F stat. At this point our probability value is less than 5%, so we have to reject the null hypothesis, and we have to accept the alternative hypothesis, which means that saving does cause GDP, and so on. So you can also explain these results as well. So if you see that if your probability values are greater than 5% and you are not satisfied with your result, so you can change your results by increasing the number of lag in your model. So what you have to do, you have to go again on group statistic and you have to apply Granger Causality test. Press OK, and here you can increase the number of lag. Let's say I am taking 4 lags. So keep in mind that the probability value is 0.85 when we have selected 2 lags. Now let's see what's happened when we increase the number of lags. So as you can see that when we increase the number of lags, this probability value also changes, and similar thing happen to this. So in this way you can apply Granger Causality test, and you can check that whether your two variables are causing each other or not.